Hello little hoes, my name is Kristen and welcome back to my channel. Today is another Worth the Splurge video in which I rate some plants in my collection, and if I were to do it over again, maybe give myself advice just not to purchase it. So today's unsavory character is this Philodendron grazielae or grazielae. I got this probably a year ago now on Mercari. At the time, it was probably 30 or a little under, if memory serves me correctly, and it was under half this size for a start. It had a couple of leaves on it, maybe a third that has since fallen off, but a bit small. But at the time, I thought it was a pretty good price for an interesting plant, and I really liked these sort of stubby, heart-shaped leaves, and I thought it would be kind of a fun addition. I did not think it would be so hard to grow, but this is one of the toughest, fussiest, dramatic, prone plants in my collection. And it's so hard to believe since it's, I don't know, it's kind of cute, I guess. But it is probably one of the top tiers for needing consistent humidity. I had this originally in my grow tent, a sort of makeshift grow tent, if you will, that has a humidifier running for most of the day, sometimes at night, but not usually. And it fluctuates, but it's still higher than the atmospheric humidity in the rest of my house. This guy just kept putting out ugly, contorted, difficult leaves that you can kind of see here. This is what it looks like when it's not happy with the amount of humidity. They're just very contorted and don't look nice. And in my experience, it needs at least 70% humidity. Anything under just doesn't seem to be enough. I even had this outside for a while in the summer months, and it's fairly humid here in the summers, pretty hot, and it even struggled then. He was outside for probably a month and a half. I was sort of spraying down my houseplant collection, getting rid of some bugs, and he just didn't look great throughout that process. I decided to give him another chance, even though he's had a few already, and I ended up throwing him in my planted terrarium. And I'll show you the setup, what it looks like. This whole pot is just sitting on top of that soil, and it stays fairly humid in there, probably hovers around 70% humidity, but it can climb depending on if I have recently watered or misted, which I should do more often, but probably just do every few days. He has really improved. He did the hokey pokey and turned himself around. And you can kind of see, as soon as I put it in that terrarium, it started sprouting out these long ass whiskers here, these aerial roots. And this entire section here, these three newest leaves, came out without difficulty whatsoever. And usually they curl and contort, like I've said, and take forever to emerge. But these guys really did great. So all in all, my thoughts, it is a cute little guy. It's kind of unique in the fact that the leaves are very heart-shaped and stubby. I probably would recommend this plant for people that lived in a hot tropical climate, that they can just keep these types of plants out all the time and not worry about them. But for indoor houseplant growers, it's going to be a thumbs down for me. I feel like it's just too fussy, too dramatic, especially if you don't have a terrarium setup. If you do have a terrarium setup, this might be kind of fun, a little bit smaller, more petite variety that probably will grow for quite a long time in a terrarium setting without, outgrowing it. But for normal people like you and me, I wouldn't recommend getting this. Hey, it's future editing Kristen here. I forgot to include what the current prices are generally for these grazielaes, and I looked on Etsy and they seem to be ranging between $30 and $50. They seem to have snuck up a little bit in price, at least recently within the last 6 months or so. So I personally would not spend anything over $20-$30 for it. I have heard of people finding some in Lowe's, Home Depot, the box stores occasionally carrying them. So if you were to find one there, maybe snag it, but I definitely wouldn't pay $50 or above for it. So that will do it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below if you've grown this plant or if it's been on your wish list. I would love to hear your comments. So that will be all. As always, stay safe, healthy, and sane. I'll talk to y'all real soon. Goodbye.